Gauge heads-up display.
Check.
Right. Army.
Hey guys, Jeff here. Welcome back to Imagination Tech. So yeah, there's still a long way to go before Betaflight OSD looks anywhere close to what Iron Man sees through his visor. But Betaflight still has a couple of tricks up its sleeve. And today we are going to be taking a look at OSD profiles and how to switch between them in flight. So this is going to be very useful to you cinewoopers as well as those of you who fly long range. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so that's a really cool interface inside the helmet of Iron Man, and with Jarvis being the AI interface that helps Iron Man control his suit. The on-screen display elements of the Iron Man armor or Iron Man helmet changes this depending on the situation. We don't have any AI capability to do that with our quads, but what I'm going to show you is how you're going to be able to change your OSD elements while in flight. This is not a new feature. This feature has been around since Betaflight 4.0, and the OSD, it's been available since I think like 3.2 or maybe earlier. I think it might have been available in Clean Flight, but I'm not sure about that. If you know, I'd be curious to know down in the comments. Let me know. Right, so this feature isn't new, but with the rise of cinewoops, I think this is very timely, and this is a very cool feature that you might want to consider when you set up your next quad. Right, so let's plug in our quad. This is my Armor Whoopee HD Whoop. Okay, so first let's go to OSD. By the way, if you notice, I have Betaflight 4.2 on this quad, and I have configurator 10.7. So again, this should work from Betaflight 4.0 and onwards. And I think OSD profile, this drop-down OSD profile drop-down is in configurator 10.4 onwards. I'm not 100% sure about that. Right, so normally you'd set your OSD profile, you'd turn on all of the elements that you want to show on your OSD, and you'll notice that there's 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and this corresponds to each of the OSD profiles. So I have a few on-screen elements here. Let's just say OSD profile 1 is for regular freestyle flying. So I have battery voltage here, I have my RSSI, my warnings, my VTX settings, and my quad name, my craft name over there. So that's it. That's all I need when I'm just do flippity floppity around the air, around the park or wherever. But let's say since this is I guess you can call it a cinewoop. So if I have Crossfire here, but I don't have GPS. But for cases where I'm doing some long range flying and I'm exploring the boundaries of my signal, maybe I want to have link quality displayed in there as well. And if this doesn't have GPS, but for example, if you have GPS on your cinewoop, you probably want to display your latitude, longitude, number of satellites, your home position or home direction, how many meters away you are, etc. I've also included the flight time, just so I don't get carried away and fly too long. At least I want to be able to make sure that I can fly back to where I took off. Right, and also my battery consumption is also shown here. So with freestyle flying, I probably would just be concerned about if I'm hitting 14 volts and I'm not really doing long range. So as soon as it's like 14.2, 14.1, then I'd probably head home. But if I'm doing some long range, then I could be like at 14.5. But if I'm like 3 kilometers out, 2 kilometers out, then I want to make sure that all of these things are within the tolerable limits of my battery, right? So one thing you might have noticed is that in OSD profile 1, I have the VTX displayed over here, whereas in OSD Profile 2 it's been replaced by this by the timer. So yeah, obviously I switched the visibility of the VTX settings on OSD Profile 2, made it not visible. So you can see here it's only visible in OSD 1, and timer 2 is only visible in Profile 2. So one thing you need to take note of is that the OSD profiles 1, 2, and 3 only determine the visibility of the on-screen elements, but not the position. So each of these elements will be in the same position regardless of the OSD profile number. So it just so happens that I don't have the VTX OSD element displayed, and I have the timer element displayed over here. But let's take a look at this battery voltage. So you can see that I've set this in both OSD Profile 1 and Profile 2. But let's say I move this over here towards the center, center of so it's more visible. I don't have to move my eye around just to see where what my voltage is. If I switch to OSD Profile 2, you'll notice that it's also there. So it doesn't save the actual position between the OSD profiles. It just saves whether it's visible or not. All right. So once again, this is your choice. So I have OSD Profile 1 for freestyle, Profile 2 for when I'm doing long range, and maybe OSD Profile 3. I want a blank slate. Maybe I'm just chilling and I just want to be in the moment. But let's say you want to set up OSD Profile 3 for racing, then maybe you can have a crosshair there. You can have the voltage visible as well, and you probably don't need the RSSI because you're just going around a racetrack, and you're pretty sure that the signal is not going to drop out. Right, so you just configure all of these OSD profiles to your liking, and just hit save, and then we are going to go into the adjustment tab. So if you don't have expert mode enabled, you won't be able to see that tab. So make sure that this is turned on. Right, so going into the adjustments tab, you'll see that I have all of these three elements are set to aux4 because I've put it all in one 3-position switch on my radio. So you make sure that these three are enabled. So you just make sure that these sliders are turned on, and then in the range you put here on the lower end of the range, the middle part of the range, and then the latter part of the range. And then all of this is just set to OSD profile selection. There's a lot of selections over there if you want to fiddle around with Betaflight, but for our purposes today, we just need to click on OSD profile selection, and then we also select aux4 in here by a channel. So what this does is when it's in the low position, it's going to set to OSD profile 1. If it's in the middle position, it's going to set to OSD profile 2, and when it's on the high position, it's going to set it to OSD profile 3. And you just have to click on save, and that is going to be it. That is a very, very quick setup. You just need to go through these two tabs, set up all of your OSD elements, and then just enable the adjustments. Let me show you one example where this can be used. So for example, I'm just coming off from some freestyle flights, and I'm just exploring the area, and I can see that my RSSI is dropping from 45. I was just wondering what my link quality is. So with a flick of a switch, I can turn it on, and I can see that my link quality is now in mode 1, which means I've dropped from 150 Hz to 50 Hz, and I should be monitoring my link quality that it doesn't drop, really low. But yeah, so it's staying at 100. I'm at 50 Hz mode 1 of Crossfire. I still have a link quality of 100, so and I can see that I've only used a minute of the battery, so I'm pretty confident I can still get back to where I took off from. So this was summer up in Rizal before the enhanced community quarantine or ECQ was re-implemented again. So that is it, and that is all there is to it. Now this has been a very, very simple and short tutorial, and I only showed you a couple of sample profiles. For example, if I'm doing long range, I want that extra bit of information, or if I'm I want to be in the flow and I just want the screen to be all clear. But if you have a GPS enabled quad, I actually do have one, but it's not enabled for OSD profile switching. You can have an OSD profile where it shows all of your GPS information, your latitude, your longitude, number of satellites that you have locked, and all of that information as one of your OSD profiles. And you can switch to that if you're doing really long range, or you can turn those OSD elements off if you're doing just your normal flying, your normal freestyle flying, right? So I hope this video has been really useful to you. If it was, I'd like to hear more about it in the comments. I'd like to hear what you think about it in the comments, and make sure to click that like button, and make sure you're subscribed as well. And if you really appreciate what I do here, do send me coffee. $1, $2. That goes a long way. My coffee link is down in the description below as well, or you can just click on one of my affiliate links beside each of the products that I have in the description. All right. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Keep building and keep flying.
Thank you.